everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lakshmi Rajiv. Hope all of you are doing well. A very happy Christmas to everyone. Today I'll be reviewing the book The Pig Man by Paul Zindel. It's been a while since I've read such an eccentric and exaggerated book. But at the same time, I emotionally do relate to both the protagonists in this book. The Pig Man. Strange is the title, so is the story. But strange in a good way. The book is written by Paul Zindel, who had received a Pulitzer Prize in drama. The Pig Man is set in the 1990s America and follows the life of John and Lorraine, two sophomore students whose life completely change after they meet the Pig Man. I would like to begin by stating a fact. Not everyone would enjoy this book because it is hysterical. You need to surrender yourself to the plot to enjoy it. If you're not a person who enjoys books which have madness as a main element, then I would suggest you to not read this book. This book is meant for 14 plus, and personally, I absolutely love this book. I'm a person who enjoys books which are emotionally driven, and I'm fine with books which, in order to convey the emotion and message, the author focuses a little less on the complexity of the plot. And there can be things which are not so possible in real life happening in the book. This book, the plot is relatively fragile, but the themes discussed and the characters are so very important and realistic. It's almost like a pendulum oscillating between larger than life and sanity. But if you think in one way, all of our lives are filled with insanity, and obviously we all have a little madness instilled in each of us. First, I would like to discuss about the story format and style of writing. The story is written in perspectives of John and Lorraine, where both of them are narrating the story of their lives after they meet the Pig Man. Humor is a main element in the book. There is a librarian who the children call the Cricket because she makes noises of a cricket when she walks. A lot of psychological traits seen in teenagers are discussed in this book. It's written so descriptively, you can almost see the whole setting come alive. You feel like you're also hanging out with John and Lorraine, and this book does set up a very interactive experience. Despite the plot being extremely simple, it's still hard to predict what's going to happen next. The characters, and this is what I'm the most excited to talk about. I have never related to two characters more in my life. The author himself has said in the extras section of the book that he received fan mails from teenagers stating that the characters are just like them. Experience and lifestyle wise, I do not relate, but emotionally and the thought process wise, the characters are just too relatable. They are weird on the outside, but deep inside they are raw, and like all of us, they cannot be suppressed into boxes labeled good or bad. Not a single thing can be black or white. It's all grey, and it's from there that the confusion, emotions, conflicts arise. The themes. There are so many relevant themes in this book. The connection between aging and loneliness is a prominent topic in this book. Lorraine talks about her teacher's mother, how the teacher has kept her sick old mother right in the middle of the living room so that she doesn't miss out on anything that happens when people visit her. People consider this act, which is actually so considerate, to be extremely weird. How loneliness can almost kill a person. One old character in this book kept smiling all the time, was kind and innocent and caring, but he had just a single friend, and that was a baboon in a zoo. Often, when a child behaves a certain way, we say his upbringing is not good. Few kids in this book blame their parents for the way they are. They create havoc and are not ready to take blame. But towards the end of the book, they realize that no matter who's around you, what circumstances we grow up in, at the end of the day, the responsibility of our behavior is completely in our hands. Experiences do shape a person, but choices play a bigger role. and to make a choice and to own up to a mistake, we have all the freedom in the world. There is also a discussion about how joy and satisfaction in life is often out of question when it comes to making money and having a job. In a situation when a character says he believes he has a good imagination and wants to get a job in a creative field, his father responds by saying, "Try eating your imagination when you are hungry sometime." This is often said even though we all are fully aware of the fact that a bed full of cash is not what we think of in our deathbeds, but what we did in life to say that we lived and not just survived. Money is, of course, a necessity, but always keep in mind what is most essential in life: health, peace, and happiness. The book also portrays how guilt is such a powerful emotion, how it has the capacity to kill and create things inside the human mind. There are many other themes discussed in the book, like family, friendship, mental health, and how some people just come into our life by accident and leave a mark that stays on forever. This book is wonderful in many ways, but its writing style and plot may not appeal to everybody out there, as I said before. I would like to end this review with a small paragraph in the book that I found extremely touching. There was no one else to blame anymore. No boats or old ladies or Nortons or assassins waiting at the bridge. And there was no place to hide, no place across any river for a boatman to take us. Our life would be what we made of it, nothing more, nothing less. Thank you.